Folks, welcome to The View for the warm up your short, sharp data pack to get you ready for the next Leeds United game. The next one up is an away trip to the KC Stadium, the Kingston's Communication Stadium, the Community Stadium, whatever Hull City are calling it this week. But Leeds are on the road again with an away record that has been showing signs of improving recently, while our home record took a bit of a bump against Blackburn during the week. Other results went our way and mean Leeds United are still top of the table coming into this game, and what for me is an important game to get a win, because looking at the other teams playing around us, this could be a week where we could do with 3 points on the road. So there's a lot to get stuck into. We'll look at the form guide for both sides. We'll look at the key form, home and away forms of both of the sides involved, team news and updates on player availability, as well as key people to keep an eye on in this game, team selection likelihoods, and what everybody else is getting up to in the league this weekend. We start off with Hull City as they're the home side, and look at their form guide. It makes good reading for Leeds United. Hull are third from bottom of the championship and very much in a relegation dogfight for their survival. 22 points so far this season and scored 22 goals in the process, conceding 33 in the same amount of time. They have 5 wins all season. The home record isn't good at all, but 2 wins in their last 5 gave them some hope, but there is 3 defeats in that mix there as well. They are the lowest scoring side in the championship so far this season, so on paper, positives from a opposition perspective for Leeds. From a Leeds perspective, still top of the table with Burnley and Sheffield United both dropping points during the week. That means that Leeds continue their spell at the top. Sheffield United losing out to Sunderland. Sunderland creeping back up, only 5 points off the top now as well. Leeds at 52 points at this point of the season, 3 points ahead of second place Burnley and Sheffield United. As I said, with Sunderland creeping back into the mix, just 5 points below that. Key form for this one, so when we look at the home form for the home side and the away form for the away side, we look at Hull at home, and they have the worst home record in the division. Rock bottom of the table, 2 home wins all season for them, 6 defeats in 13 games, and scoring only 11 goals at home all season. 1 home win in their last 5 games. From a Leeds United away perspective, as I say, it's been getting better. It's slowly been improving as Leeds move on through the season. Leeds now have the 3rd best away record, but still sitting behind Sheffield United and Burnley, who also sit very close to Leeds United on the home record as well. So that's where the breaks will need to happen. Leeds 3 wins, 1 draw, and only 1 defeat in their last 5 games on the road. And Leeds have scored 15 goals away from home this season, conceding 9 at the same time. So their away record is getting better. Keep the early goals away from home and allow Leeds to play their game. Leeds will want to do things a little sharper and snappier than they did against Blackburn at Ellen Road during the week. But for me in that game, it was very much how Blackburn set up to stifle Leeds. I thought Blackburn defensively were very good. Sometimes it's not about what Leeds do, it's about what the oppositions do, and they handled us pretty easily and very successfully in that game. From a team news perspective, there will be some conversations coming into this around who can play and who can play where, because that seems to be a bigger conversation than who can play, who's going to play in what position. And Jayden Bogle went off just after half time against Blackburn Rovers, but that knock has been ruled to be just a dead leg, and Daniel Farke saying he should be okay for today's game. Sam Byram was substituted at half time. Daniel Farke saying the player was exhausted at half time, having played his 6th game in a row. During a spell, we're told that Byram can only play 2 games in a row. Leeds are trying to avoid any further injuries. That caused its own set of problems. Ethan Ampadu ended up right back, Max Ferber ended up left back, and the left back ended up on the bench. So no other injury concerns for Leeds. Junior Firpo back in training, but not in team training just yet, but expected back in the fold very soon. Hull City though, not good news at all for them. Really bad news. 7 players expected to miss out for them coming into this game. Liam Miller and Mohamed Baloumi are both out with ACL injuries. 2 players that Leeds looked at heavily during last summer. Wingers Ryan Longan, Casey Palmer, Carl Rushford, Charlie Hughes and Oscar Zambrano are all set to miss the game as well for one reason or another. So when you look at all of that from a team perspective going in, with their home record, with their full record this season, Leeds record, and then the amount of injuries they've got coming into this game for Leeds, this is a game Leeds have to go out with the mentality of go and win this game, and I think Leeds could win this game with a decent number on the board as well. Key players to keep an eye out for, and for Hull City, it's a weird situation. Their better players are missing for this game. The only one to talk about is João Galvo, who's their top goal scorer this season, but top goal scorer with 4 goals all season. Mohamed Baloumi right behind him on 4, but he's out for the rest of the season. Liam Miller involved in their top 5 as well, and he is also out for the rest of the season. So all of that bodes quite well. From a Leeds perspective, Joel Piroe is leading the race as Leeds GNA this season. Goals and assists, 14 in total for Joel Piroe this year. And Brendan Aronson right behind him on 9, alongside Willie Gnonto also on 9. I think Willie Gnonto might actually get a start in this game. From a team selection perspective, likely to see Ethan Ampadu come back into the midfield. I think Joe Rothwell will be the sacrificial lamb in this game in order for Ampadu to partner out Tanaka in the middle of the park. Sacrificial lamb is the term I'm using because I thought it was a mistake to take him off against Blackburn. I thought it left the midfield wide open, and Blackburn had their best spell during the time where Joe Rothwell wasn't on the park. So for me, I like Joe Rothwell. I like what he brings to Leeds in terms of tempo, but I think Farke will go with that more defensive-minded partnership, despite the fact that the team he's up against are bottom of the table at home all season. Dan James and Willie Gnonto, I personally think will occupy the wing spaces for Leeds. I think Manor Solomon will get a bit of a rest. A lot of talk about why he came off during the game in midweek. Personally, I think if anyone was going to come off in that game, it was going to be Solomon for me. Not because he was bad, just because I thought he was a little bit hesitant in certain situations, and if he was going to change it, he was going to change it for him, and change it for him he did. Isaac Schmidt will be a talking point again coming into this game, having played so few minutes for Leeds and having to watch a central midfielder and a centre back occupy the full back areas when he's come from European football to the Championship, can't get on the park. So I still don't think he'll get a start in this game unless Daniel Farke bows to a little bit of pressure, which I don't see that happening. In fact, I see Farke doing the opposite in that case, and we may not see Isaac Schmidt till Leeds play Harrogate in the FA Cup. So for me, Max Verber will occupy the left back position in place of Sam Byram, and I think Jayden Bogan will make this game and will occupy the right hand position for Leeds. From a promotion rivals perspective coming into this game, well, Burnley, they are on the road to Ewood Park and take on Blackburn, which won't be a straightforward game for them either. Sheffield United also away, and they're away to Watford in what's been a really, really bad spell for Sheffield United. They've not won in 3 games, and it really is an opportunity Leeds need to capitalise on every time that they slip up, because they have gone on runs this year, and Leeds need to just make sure we keep a healthy gap between us and them, ideally more than one result. Sunderland are at home to Portsmouth at the weekend. So yeah, likelihood of all teams picking up points, but there could be some potential banana skins in there as well. Likely to see, I think Sheffield United will get a win against Watford. Interested to see how Burnley get on against Blackburn. Local derby there, so a lot to play for. And then just from a line of prediction perspective, this is what I think Leeds United will go up. But let me know down in the comments what you think the lineup will be coming into today's game and what scoreline you think you'll get as well. I personally think Leeds will win this. I think they'll win it quite comfortably. I'm looking at a 4-0 win. I'm probably over-egging it and losing the run of myself, but I think a 4-0 win to Leeds United. From a line of perspective, I think Leeds will go with Ilan Melia in goal. The back 4 will be Jayden Bogle, Joe Roden, Pascal Stroke and Max Verber. The midfield 2 will be a holding pair of Ampadu and Tanaka, James and Gnonto on the wings, Aronson in the 10 and Joel Piroe to continue in the number 9 spot. Although, coming into this game and looking where Hull are, if you wanted some fringe players to get some confidence, you could start Mateo Joseph in this game. I reckon there will be a bit of space to play in. You never know. Leeds could put a lot of pressure on them, and starting Aronson and Joseph with Dan James could put a huge amount of pressure on them from a pressure perspective. Leeds pressing the ball as they try and play out from the back. Interesting to see what he'll do with Manor Solomon, what he'll do with Isaac Schmidt, and who will play left back. Will it be Verber or Schmidt? Be interesting to see. I reckon Sam Byram gets a rest in this game. I'll be surprised to see Farke risk an injury when he's got other options in that position. A big one for me has been round pegs and round holes. If you've got the players available, if you've got the players that can play in certain positions, play them in those positions. Stop putting players that are different positions in there because you want to have them on the park. It doesn't always help Leeds. Nathan Ampadu coming on at right back didn't help Leeds because Dan James lost an overlapping partner and got doubled up for the rest of the game, and therefore that any chance of attack from that side went out of the window. But I'd be interested to see what all you think coming into today's game. There will be a watch along over on the Big Up platform. Links are down below. Check them out if you want to. And I will see you straight after the game for a match reaction on YouTube, and then back on Monday for the news and the review. So I will talk to you then. Fingers crossed for 3 points. Talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.